Hey everybody, this is Ted Check, recovering reporter. So I was on X or somewhere else and I stumbled across this story from Business Insider. Pete Hegseth made millions at Fox News and $765,000 from 41 paid speeches in the last 2 years. And my response is, so what? So what? Brian Metzger is the writer here. And so he opens up. He doesn't even have a lead. He opens with bullet points. Pete Hegseth Trump's controversial. I mean, controversial to you maybe, or see, it's even wrong as a journalist to say controversial. Let the public decide what's controversial and what's not controversial. As a journalist, you should not be saying that the guy's controversial. Just list what he's been in the news for. You know, the transgressions, the improprieties, etc., etc. Let people decide whether that's controversial or whether it's not controversial. You don't have to say it. Picked to be the Secretary of Defense made millions at Fox News. He's received $4.6 million in salary income from the network since 2023. He's also made at least $765,000 from 41 paid speeches and hundreds of thousands more from books. So the guy has multiple income streams. Wow, that's actually a good thing. President-elect Donald Trump's nominee to lead the Department of Defense, Pete Hegseth, has made millions of dollars per year working as a Fox News host, according to a financial disclosure made public on Monday. And then it goes on to talk about that in more detail. But that's so all right. Well, okay. So then I texted the guy. I found the guy on X, Brian Metzger. Right? This is Brian Metzger. He posted his own story. And I said, former journalist here. Was this a story that your audience asked you to do? Yes, Hegseth has made millions, but so have a lot of others who have gone from the private to the public sector. I didn't read a nut graph in your story, also known as the why. So the nut graph in journalism speak, because you can see it. I mean, look at it; it makes no sense. Nut graph. What the hell? What are you talking about? You're a squirrel trying to get a nut. But a nut graph is the why. The nut graph tells your readership, why in the world are you writing this story? And there's nothing like that in there. It's just because. It's just, oh well, it's Pete Hegseth, so we're gonna write about his income. I mean, how much bearing does it have, if any, on him being Secretary of Defense? None. It has no bearing on whether he's going to be Secretary of Defense or not, or how it bears no relationship to the possibility of his tenure there and his performance as a Secretary of Defense. It has nothing to do with that. It only seeks, I believe, to create more jealousy and animosity towards the guy. Oh, not only did he do this, not only did he do that, but he's got a lot of money. And that's another thing to hold against him. There's no reason. People were not clamoring for a story like this. We want to know how much did he make? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I guarantee you, nobody cares. Yeah. So this is why people can't stand the media. Because you're going to say the guy's controversial, and maybe a lot of people might think he's not controversial at all. And then you're gonna dump on him for making money. You're gonna fault the guy for living out the American dream. I mean, isn't that what we'd all like to do? We'd all like to have multiple revenue streams. I mean, he worked for Fox. He did speeches. He wrote books. He was running nonprofits. That's what you have to do these days. You got to have multiple income streams, especially if you're going to have a lot of kids like he does. And that doesn't make any sense to me. Why you would go to these lengths? How much he makes? I don't get it. I don't get it. There's nothing, and there's nothing wrong with it in this story. It's not like Brian Metzger saying, well, he made this much money from books, and that's wrong because there's no There's no notion of impropriety when it comes to any of his employment. All of this seems legitimate. Like, what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. It would be something if you said, well, he made $765,000 from 41 paid speeches, but he didn't show up to half of them. Something like that. No, he negotiated a price for those talks, for those speeches. So they paid him whatever the negotiated price was, and he delivered, it seems, on those speeches. Like I said, it'd be one thing if there was something illegal or something untoward about any of his financial dealings here and any of his money-making endeavors, but it doesn't appear. I mean, certainly Brian Metzger doesn't name any. All right. I've gone on long enough about this. You know how I feel. Let me know how you feel, and I'll talk to you later.